Welcome to Power Talks with Santosha. Today we have brought you a special episode. 25 religious young leaders from around the world have gathered in Kathmandu to participate in an international conference on the issue of disarmament for shared security. Today we are going to talk extensively about the global threat and what could be the possible solutions for them from the perspective of young leaders from around the world. Reverend Sugino, what has motivated you to undertake, which in a way deals opposite to several powerful nations?
Disarmament issues are quite serious challenges of the world, but at the same time, you can't undermine, you can't underestimate the power of religious youth leaders. There are 4.8 billion population. They're all religiously affiliated. Half of them are youth, young people. They are affected by a political reality. They're involved in violence, but at the same time, they are the source of the society. They have that socially transformative power themselves. So here we are discussing peace as a holistic notion. You can't just talk about development. You can't just talk about conflict. You can't just talk about disarmament. Peace is a holistic notion. You can't ignore one element. So here in this international summit, religious youth leaders from 25 countries across 6 continents, they are discussing what they can do as a religious youth leaders, engaging their fellow believers and activists in the cause of peace. Disarmament is an important challenge. Sometimes it's a technical challenge, but they are discussing disarmament issues within the framework of holistic, comprehensive notion of shared security. So peace is a holistic notion, and one element cannot be ignored. You have to deal with different issues within the framework, overall framework of shared security.
The issues of disarmament is very politically charged. And normally we see religious leaders to be passive in the society when it comes to political agendas. How do you expect the world to take religious young leaders so seriously with the issue of disarmament?
The religion is interpreted in a different way, and the general perception is religion is a source of conflict. Religion is offering quite negative influence and impact on the society and so on. And as you said, religious leaders' role is seen as a limited way. But at the same time, if you look at the global reality, now religion is at the heart of politics, at the heart of global challenges, and they are discovering, the religious communities and civil society and even governments are discovering that this religion and inter-religious dimension is very, very important topic. And the King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia called for a United Nations Security Council meeting on interfaith dialogue and cooperation. And in different countries, in Sri Lanka, in Mindanao, and other places, religious leaders are coming together to engage in track two approach. There are governmental processes, political processes, but always civil society initiatives and dialogue, reconciliation efforts should complement the political process. So we can't underestimate the power of religion and the importance of religious communities, ethnic communities coming together for a common cause. So disarmament is one of the key challenges, but the emphasis should be placed on people from different religious communities working together on specific issue. That's the challenge we are trying to address.
Mrs. Manandar, you played an instrumental role in bringing the world leaders to Nepal to discuss about peace and disarmament. What encouraged you to do that?
I am involved 20 years ago in this interfaith organization. Since the main objective of this organization is to bring peace and security and harmony and tolerance among all religious people. So, they are giving me this opportunity to host this conference, because this is the high time to have this conference in Nepal. We Nepalese feel very insecure, and there is always violence, crimes, pickpocketing, all sort of things happening. Even the roads have been blocked several times. We civilians are facing very big problem. This is not the way how we have to go through all sort of these inconveniences and problems. So how we can develop peace in our country? This I felt very bad. Whenever I meet the world leaders in different world conferences, I used to talk with some very important people how to bring peace in the world. Especially Nepal is very unsecure, and maybe they felt this and they were searching us to hold this type of conference here in Nepal. So I got the opportunity to hold this conference in Nepal to bring, this is mostly focused on youth people. It is a conference, summit of religious young leaders.
Mr. Reza, in your opinion, how has religious extremism contributed to the conflict around the world, and where do you see the solution?
I personally belong to the area where there is a conflict going on in Pakistan. So I personally believe that it has not only badly affected our social fabric at local level, but it has also greatly or significantly impacted the international peace. And one of the background reason of that conflict was that it was in the past being supported by so many Western countries. They were the people who were supported by the Western countries, by the countries from the Middle East, where they promoted the jihad, and now they are the same people who are fighting against the NATO forces in Afghanistan and the Pakistan forces inside Pakistan.
Pakistan clearly seems to be in a very tough situation with jihad and with internal conflict right now. Where do you find a solution?
It was quite easy in the past to address that issue in a very proper and in a very efficient manner. Unfortunately, the government of Pakistan and even the global community started taking or addressing these issues at a very late stage when such people became empowered. They have a lot of resources, weapons were supplied to them through Afghanistan. So the problem still is quite complicated, but majority of the people of Pakistan are really moderate. They are quite progressive, and you can see the results of the elections that even in the recent election, the Pakistan People Party, which is a secular party, they won with majority. And if you look into the Northwest Frontier Province, there is Awami National Party, which is a very secular party. So they defeated even the religious parties. So it is not the problem with the people. It is the problem with the policy of the governments, policy of the West, that how they are addressing the issue. And now, just recently, the Pakistan government has taken up a military action against the extremists in the Valley of Swat and in the Northwest Frontier Province. About 2.5 million people have been migrated from that areas. So even the internal migration from that areas itself is a very clear indication of the fact that those people want peace. And if those all people were extremists, so why then they migrated from those areas? So that is quite simple, but the government and the Western countries should realize that in which efficient way they should go forward, like